Welcome back, everybody. This is the Dungeon Dice Dimension. I'm Dice Master Killamike,
And I'm Dice Master Snoop.
and this is how to play Dungeon Dice Monsters.
That's right, we're going to be breaking down the basic version of Dungeon Dice Monsters, which is found in the starter set.
Okay.
It's like, but where to start?
Yeah, where to start? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is divide the game pieces. So the starter set should come with 10 pieces of dungeon.
Yes, with the color on each side, so you can see the red and blue.
So you take 5 and give your opponent 5. Then starter set comes with 6 monsters. You each take 3. So the starter set recommends to just break them up into into 2 teams: Kaiba monsters and Yugi monsters. So I will control the Yugi monsters for the sake of the video.
And I will take Kaiba. Now, for the basic game, we use the inside grid here instead of the big one. And your Monster Lord goes on the white square. Here's a Monster Lord card for you. Your Monster Lord starts with 3 HP. An HP is lost each time your Monster Lord takes an attack from any monster. It can't lose more than 1 HP on a turn, or from one monster on a turn, but you can get multiple monsters around it to take multiple HP from it.
Okay.
So each player gets a crest counter tracker. This shows how many crests you have in your pool, and crests are used, they're used to do various things with your monsters. There are movement crests, attack crests, defense crests, magic crests, and trap crests.
And you earn crests by rolling dice. So whenever a crest symbol pops up on your turn, you add said crest symbol to your crest counter.
Yes. And then some monsters have special abilities that require different types of crests in order to activate them. For instance, the Strike Ninja has an ability. Does it have a name for the ability? Does it say like banish, or is it just like usability?
Yeah, I think it just says usability. I don't think it has a name. I call it trap ability.
For example, the Strike Ninja has an ability that allows you to use 3 trap crests in order to, during this turn, or during one turn, attacking or item effects don't work on this monster at this time other monsters can go through him. So basically the Trap Ninja becomes invisible and you can go through him, but he can't be attacked or items can't affect him.
Okay. So each player. So, okay. Let me give you the monster cards.
Yes.
Force Raider. And Thunderball. Okay. The game starts off with obviously, okay. Before you can start the game, you have to determine who will go first, and that's normally done by playing rock, paper, scissors. Okay. So Kaiba's side will start the game. One quick thing is we're just going to take a quick look at these monster cards here, because each monster does have their own special abilities.
Yes, definitely. So you just want to go through yours?
First thing, you can see little symbols next to the ability. So that symbol represents the crest you need to activate it. Now Buster Blader, his crest thing shows 0, which means his ability is always active. And his ability is he cannot be attacked by dragons. He cannot be affected by dragons' abilities. Next, Gearfried the Iron Knight. For 3 trap crests, you can choose to sacrifice your Gearfried the Iron Knight to prevent an attack on your monster lord. Now he's got a symbol here with 3 in it. That means you can spend any 3 crests to activate that ability. And that ability is to defend. So you can spend any 3. If you don't have a defense crest, you can spend any 3 crests in your pool to make a defense. Next we have Strike Ninja. Strike Ninja can spend 1 movement crest to move 3 squares. Also, Strike Ninja can prevent an attack by spending 3 trap crests. At that point, if he does that, other monsters can walk through him, but they cannot occupy his square.
Yes. And then for these monsters, the Knight of Twin Swords can move 2 squares for each progress crest that is spent. And he also has an ability where if you spend multiple attack crests with him, he can make multiple attacks in multiples of 2. But if you do that, it has to be in multiples of 2. Each attack can also be defended against if the opponent has defense crests. The Vorse Raider has an ability that requires 3 crests, and it can use any 3 crests to make an attack, basically. So if you don't have an attack crest, you can still attack. And a passive ability that during a battle, if it's attacking something from the Beast Tribe, it does an additional 20 damage to it. Now, the Thunderball has an ability where if you spend 3 magic crests, and it moves in a straight line, and whatever it hits gets immediately destroyed, whether it's a monster or a trap, or it keeps going until it hits a dead end if there isn't a trap or item, or sorry, a monster or an item at the end of the line. Alright, so I'm going to go first, and we are going to go through a basic turn in the game. So to start your turn, you choose 3 of the dice from the dice pool. Now, they don't have to be the same dice. However, in order to summon a monster, you must get 3 matching
crests.
Yeah, 3 matching crests
Summon
with the star
crests
on them. Yeah. So for a level 3 monster, you need to get at least 2 level 3 stars, and that will get you your monster. So usually you want to stick with the same type for trying to summon a monster. So I am going to roll level 2s. So on my first roll, I got my summon. Now, if there were any crests on these rolls, I would also add them into my crest pool.
Just for the sake of the video, we'll say he rolled two summon crests and 2 movement crests.
Yeah. So I would add 2 movement crests into my crest counter, and then I would summon my level 2 monster. Now, summoning allows you to place a piece of dungeon. So I will just place that there.
Now, the first piece of dungeon must always be adjacent to the monster lord.
Yes, that is correct. So we will summon the Knight of Twin Swords right there. Now we place the dungeon piece. Okay, then after summoning my monster, I can now choose to use my crests if I would like to. So for the sake of this tutorial, I shall use 1 of my movement crests in order to move the Knight of Twin Swords 1 space. And I will pass my turn.
So now your opponent does the exact same thing. Selects a set of dice, rolls them, and then adds any crest without destroying the monster lord to the crest pool. Because I failed at summoning, my turn is over. Especially because I don't have any monsters, so I cannot act.
Yes. All right. So now I shall roll my level 3 dice. I will add my attack crest, which I rolled, and I also get to summon my level 3 monster as well. So we will place this tile out there, and the Thunderball lands on the field.
One thing we should note is there are levels to the dice. So level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the higher the level, the harder it is to summon the monster. Level 4 dice, the crest only appears once. Or level 3 dice, it appears twice. Level 2, 3 times. And level 4, 4 times.
Yes.
And I will try a level 2 summon.
Which you shall succeed.
And Gearfried, the Iron Knight.
And now our dungeons are connected, creating a pathway to each monster lord for us.
So he can only build onto his dungeon. He can only attach pieces onto his dungeon, and I can only attach pieces onto my dungeon, even though the dungeons can touch. Does that make sense?
No. It does, except for the last part.
Okay.
I mean, we can just keep what you said at the beginning. I don't have to put the last part.
Okay, cool.
So you can just wait. That was your turn?
That's my turn.
Okay. All right. So I only have one monster left to summon. However, I don't feel as though I need to summon him at this point in time. I would rather get crests in order to go and attack my opponent's monsters. So I'm going to choose a set of 3 dice that have crests that I am looking for, which will be 2 level 4s and a level 3, because why not? So I got 2 defense crests. And that is the end of my turn.
Okay. So now I'm going to roll to try to summon again. I get no summon crest, but I got an attack, 2 trap, and 1 movement. Okay. So now we're going to do some attacking and defending.
Yes.
So I have to spend 2 movement squares, 2 movement crests to move 2 squares on the Thunderball. I must spend 1 attack crest to declare an attack on the Thunderball. And the Thunderball is being attacked for 10 damage.
Yes. Now, because I was attacked and I did roll some defense crests, I can now, in reaction to the attack, use one of my defense crests in order to defend some of the damage that I'm taking. The defense of the Thunderball itself is 10. So because Gearfried is attacking with 10 and I use the defense crest to defend 10 of that damage, I take no damage from the attack. And that resolves the attack itself.
And now, because I cannot act with any more monsters, my turn is over.
Very nice. And I, again, am looking to get some crests. So I roll level 4, and I do not get... I get 1 attack crest. So now I'm going to use this attack crest on Gearfried. Wait, should I? Alright, so I am going to make the Thunderball make an attack against Gearfried by using an attack crest, and the attack is for 10 damage on Gearfried.
So, some monsters, as we discussed earlier, have special abilities. So, one of Gearfried's special abilities is I can spend any 3 crests to make a defense. And so I have no defense crests, but I have 4 trap crests. So what I will do is spend 3 of them to create 1 defense crest to defend against the Thunderball's attack.
Perfect, and that resolves that attack, and it is the end of my turn, because you can only make 1 attack per monster per turn, unless otherwise stated. Just manipulate it.
I get a level 3 summon and 1 movement crest. Oh, and I will choose
The Buster Blader.
the Buster Blader. I will also spend 1 movement crest to just take a step back.
Sounds good. All right. Now I am going to go for some crests again. I said I'm going to go for some crests again. Not enough.
Right.
How hard is it to roll 2 magics?
There it is.
All right. So now I have rolled 2 movements and 4 magic crests. Now, what I'm going to do is activate one of my monster's special abilities. The Thunderball allows me to spend 3 magic crests, which I will spend, that I just got this turn, and it then moves straight forward until it hits a monster or item, which it then destroys. It does not move into the monster or the destroyed monster space, and if Thunderball doesn't hit anything, it moves until it reaches a dead end. So I move dead straight into Gearfried the Iron Knight, and he immediately gets destroyed. And that stops my Thunderball's turn.
Just a side note, you can use monster special abilities multiple times per turn, meaning you can Thunderball the crap out of monsters as long as you have magic crests to do so.
Yes, in fact, there have been games where the Thunderball has been moved across an entire dungeon, not to destroy anything, but just to move across the dungeon using its ability. So because I used my ability, and I still haven't moved or attacked with the Thunderball, I can break my turn up into, separate kind of phases, as you would say. So I haven't moved yet, which means I'm going to use my 3 movement crests to go to the Buster Blader, and I'm going to make 1 attack on him for 10 damage.
Awesome. Because I have no defense crests, I have no choice but to eat the damage. So out of my 30 HP will leave me with 20.
Yes. Now, keep in mind that you can't move, then use an ability, and then move again. You only get 1 movement step during your turn.
But it doesn't matter. You can move and attack, or attack and then move.
Yes, or use an ability, then move.
And another side note, each monster only gets 1 move and 1 attack.
Yes. All right, well, that ends my turn.
Oops. These ones have double attacks. The red, I think. I mean, the blue. The blue is double attacks. 2 attacks and a level 2 summon, which I do not have. So I just add the 2 attacks to my crest pool and will declare an attack on the Thunderball for 40 damage.
Now, because the Buster Blader has 40 attack and the Thunderball has 30 HP, I could use a defense crest in order to block 10 of the damage. However, that would be a waste of a crest because I will still take 30 damage and the Thunderball will die regardless of what I do. So I will just allow that to happen. And is that the end of your turn?
That is it.
All right. So I will then try to roll some level 3. I get 1 movement, 1 attack, and 2 trap crests. And I will end my turn. I think I know what I want to do. Maybe just get like a bunch of movement crests, and then I can use my ability to like run up and start attacking.
Yep.
Or you can gank my guy in the back or whatever.
Roll. One movement and 2 trap abilities.
All right, and that's your turn.
Yep.
Very nice. All right, we will roll some level 2. All right, so now I'm going to use my Knight of Twin Swords passive ability, which allows him to move 2 squares for each progress crest that I spend. And also note that when this monster performs this effect, he can't make a regular movement. So I'm going to spend 5 crests to move up to 10 squares. And we're going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I am going to make an attack on the Monster Lord for 1 HP of its health.
Bam. So my Monster Lord has 2 hit points left, or heart points.
Yes, and then I end my turn.
So now that he has barreled down on my Monster Lord, it doesn't make my Monster Lord defenseless. So after my roll, and after I add my crests, if I have an attack crest, I can spend it to declare an attack on his knight, which I will attack with my Monster Lord.
Alright, so because the Monster Lord is attacking me, I will spend my remaining defense crest to defend 10 of that damage, which means the knight will take nothing.
Yes, because the Monster Lord can only attack for 10. The Monster Lord, however, cannot defend in any circumstances. Also, a side note, you cannot use special abilities on the Monster Lord whatsoever.
Yes, and also the Monster Lord can attack flying units as well. I think you rolled.
Yeah, I rolled. That is the end of my turn.
All right. Let's see here. I am going to roll some level 1 dice. And I get 1 movement. And I can summon my level 1 Vorse Raider, which I shall do. Nope, that doesn't work. So I will summon the Vorse Raider right here. However, I have no attack crests, which means I cannot continue my assault on the Monster Lord, and it is the end of my turn.
I get 1 more attack crest, 1 movement crest, and 2 more trap crests. I will spend 3 movement crests to try to close in on the Knight of Twin Swords, and then 1 attack crest with my Monster Lord on the knight.
And now, because I do not have any more defense crests, my Knight of Twin Swords takes 10 damage, leaving it with 20 HP. And it is the end of your turn. Alright, let's roll level 4 crests to try get some crests. Alright, I get 2 movement crests, 1 attack crest, and 2 magic crests. Well, I am going to make an attack on the Monster Lord.
Bam.
And because I'm still defenseless, I'm going to use one of my movement crests to step backwards away from the Monster Lord so it cannot attack me. And then I end my turn.
One movement crest and 2 trap crests. Your turn.
Alright, I will try level 2. And we get 4 attack crests. And so, I shall use 1 movement crest to move back in, spend 1 of my attack crests in order to
finish off the Monster Lord. Bam.
And that is the way to win the game.
There's also an alternate way you can win.
Yes.
Let's say I only have 3 monsters, obviously, with the starter set. Now, if the Knight of Twin Swords, if my opponent had destroyed all 3 of my monsters and I can't summon anything, I lose the game.
Yes, because then I could just continually roll until I got what I needed. It would just draw out the game. I call it a technical knockout. In a situation where you or your opponent just are unable to build any more dungeon, or your monsters just aren't able to kill each other anymore, which sometimes happens with special abilities, you would then go through these steps in order to determine which person won the game. So it would be the Monster Lord with the most life points remaining wins, and if they're both tied, then whoever summoned more monsters onto the field would win the game. And if that is also tied, whoever summoned more high-level monsters onto the field would then win the game. And if none of those conditions are met, then the game ends as a draw. Right, and there you have it. That is the basic version of Dungeon Dice Monsters.
We'd just like to thank you all for viewing. This is the Dungeon Dice Dimension. I'm Dice Master Killamike.
And I'm Dice Master Samuraisnoop.
And we'll be back next time.
Yes, we look forward to dimensioning the dice with you.
Wow, the dimension, the dice, that's crazy.